Patrick Mahomes can win leagues in 2024. Whoa. Smitty, what are you talking about, Patrick Mahomes? He's no sleeper, Smitty. Not only is he a sleeper, Patrick Mahomes, the definition of a sleeper on this channel is somebody being slept on in any round. And his ADP is 5.28. 5.4. 5.4 is his ADP. 52.8 overall. 5.4 ADP. And this was before the news today that he's getting one of his weapons potentially raptured from the team for half a season. Rashi Rice could be out. Let's just call it 4 games. What we initially thought, 1 to 4 games before today's news that a warrant has been issued for Rashi Rice's arrest. But I can almost guarantee you that Mahomes' 52.8 ADP, which is 5.4 overall, is only going to get even better in the coming days and weeks. I give you, ladies and gentlemen, the most awkward Mars man we've ever announced on this channel, because he's probably the most famous player in the league. This is arguably the next GOAT, the next Tom Brady. This is a guy that's going to try and win 3 straight Super Bowls in a row, and yet somehow, some way, he's the best value in fantasy football 2024 at 5.4 ADP. I give you Mars Man number, 4 or 5?
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Man.
5.3, 5.4 ADP. Patrick Mahomes is a Mars man.
Dropping and spinning aimlessly.
You know, it's full circle, because this is a guy that I predicted to be a top 1 to 5 quarterback before he ever took a snap in the NFL. Josh Allen and Mahomes are probably 2 of my best predictions I've ever made at the onset of those players coming into the NFL. Very proud of those 2 predictions. So it feels very nice to be able to put Mahomes on some sort of list when he shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be talking about Patrick Mahomes as a Mars man. And some casual is going to slip in here and go, Smitty's calling Mahomes a sleeper. He is. The phone lines will be open. You're more than welcome to call in and argue with me why Mahomes isn't a sleeper, and I'll tear you to pieces. You'll get shut down. None of your arguments will get through. He's 5.3, 5.4 ADP. The Fantasy Football Show Mars Man, Emergency Mars Man Edition begins now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
This is an extra special episode just because it's so unorthodox. It's so weird. It's so uncomfortably awesome that we get to say something as dumb as Patrick Mahomes is a sleeper. A league winner, a undervalued player beyond undervalued. There are no more undervalued players in the National Football League right now, or in fantasy football, than Patrick Mahomes at 52.8 overall, 5.4 ADP. It's quite insane. I've got a draft right here that I'm gonna pull up and look at. Patrick Mahomes. Here's a draft. I'm looking at this 12. Let's see here. If I look at 52.8 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.4 to. I stand corrected. I'm sorry, I misled you. It's 5.4 to 5.5 ADP. He's going. Not in a draft with us. We get in a draft together. He's gonna get scooped up like in the 3rd or 4th round. But you draft with a bunch of casuals. You go to Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty and draft with people that want to wait on a quarterback. That's fine by me. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. We're getting close to doing drafts pretty much every other night at least. The link I just dropped in the live chat, you can click that link. I'm going to pin that link. Underdog will match up to $100 in your first deposit just by hitting that link right there, which enters promo code Smitty for you. I told you I'd get all these super chats handled as they came in, and Ron Navy drops a doozy on the channel right now. $20 hauler from Ron.
Alert. Super Chat alert.
$20 super chat. $20 super chat.
Ron, appreciate you dropping your 20 wad on screen. Ron says, graveyard. Cousins is living in his in-laws' basement right now. Crying emoji, rocket ship, rocket ship, rocket ship, rocket ship. Thank you, Ron Navy, for dropping your 20 wad on screen. Ron is a myth, a legend here on the channel. But even bigger than Ron, even bigger than Ron's $20 super chat is the value on the board right now that I'm trying to describe to people at 53 overall. Patrick Mahomes, 5th round draft selection. Unreal. Win a league material. Who's going around 53 overall? Brian Thomas Jr., who I like, but that's a rookie. Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, Rashi Rice, Aaron Jones, Zay Flowers, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, Hollywood Brown. We like some of these guys. We do. Hollywood Brown's fantastic right now. Linked to Patty Mahomes. But what are we really looking at here? We're looking at a potential number 1 overall scorer in fantasy football. You can say to me, Smitty, but I like waiting on a quarterback. Joe Burrow's in round 7. I love that too. We're going to have a Joe Burrow video coming up here. We do one every couple weeks. Don't worry. We tout that strategy all day long. Burrow around 6, 7. He's going sometimes later than that. Burrow's ADP. I'll pull that up in a bit. This is about Mahomes. You can say until you're blue in the face, Smitty, I love waiting on a quarterback. Folks, this is the wait on a quarterback, but you pull the trigger just a little bit earlier strategy. This isn't a drafting a QB early. Patrick Mahomes at 52.8 overall, 5.4 to 5.5 ADP is the definition of not even middle round quarterback drafting. Middle round quarterback drafting, to me, by my definition, is 3rd to 4th round. You're not going 2nd. You're not going, probably not even 3rd. We'll call it 4th round. This is 5th round to mid 5th round territory. This is beyond early quarterback. This is when you start considering rookie wide receivers. This is that aren't Marvin Harrison Jr. and neighbors. In a doomsday, really. You're talking about Brian Thomas Jr. You're talking about other wide receivers. You're talking about this ADP list right on your screen. I love McBride. I would have no problem drafting McBride and Joe Burrow later on. It's not like you can't justify taking some of these players. But where on this list of player do you see a player that could be the number 1 overall scorer in fantasy football? I don't care if it's quarterback and quarterbacks score more than other positions. Answer the question. Where on here do you see a player, aside from Stroud and Mahomes, that could outscore every single player in fantasy football? The answer is there is none. There's not one single player on here that even comes remotely close to outscoring every single player in fantasy football. And you could say, well, Smitty, you know, a quarterback 8 could be number 12 in my scoring format, and that's an understandable argument. And there lies the, do I wait on Burrow around 6 or 7? And there's nothing wrong with that strategy. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a guy right here in Patrick Mahomes that belongs in round 3. This is like that game you used to play as a kid. One of these things is not like the other. Patrick Mahomes is a monster, and he's sitting inside round number 5. It doesn't make any sense. It's unbelievable that he is more valuable. Let me pull up the Mars Man list one more time and show it to you.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Man.
It's unbelievable to me that I look at Bowers and I say Mahomes is better value.
Dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
This is a list of players that can explode from their ADP, right? Mahomes has the most bang for the buck. You can't argue that he's not the best pick in fantasy football 2024. You just can't. He is the most bang for the buck. He can get you arguably middle second round value. He could go second round next season if, let's say, he has a 50 touchdown campaign in 2024. He could literally go in the middle of round 2. You're getting this guy in the 5th round. This is like if you took Josh Allen, in my opinion, pulled him out of round 2, 3, and he's even plummeted a little bit because of the Diggs departure. But you take Josh Allen and you throw him around 5. Who's going to miss on drafting Josh Allen? Why are we assuming that Mahomes is not capable, no matter whether Rashi Rice is on the field or not? They have Hollywood Brown in-house now. They're probably going to either trade for a wide receiver, a little bit less likely because this is a team that loves to do it the cheap route and just, next man up receiver type situation. They did that with Rice. They'll draft another rookie. The KC Chiefs will take a rookie at 32 overall. And there's so many rookies to be had. Leggett, whoever they grab right here, Malachi Corley, it will be a fantastic draft selection. Maybe Keon Coleman slips. Maybe they trade up a little bit just to get the right wide receiver because they say, Rashi Rice, we'll see you later. G-Money dropping a $20 hauler on screen. G-Money, the man, the myth, the legend, says Smitty is the truth. During the regular season and definitely in the offseason, preparing to go back-to-back thanks to Smitty. You're the GOAT. No, G-Money, you are the GOAT, and thank you for the $20 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert.
$20 super chat. $20 super chat.
G-Money coming in strong. G-Money, Ron Navy, both dropping 20 wads on the screen here. Appreciate you both, gentlemen. Appreciate you both. I don't even know what to say at this point. I feel like most Mars men or Moon men or Saturn men, I got to come in and kind of hype them up and convince people they're going to be good players. I never thought in a million years walking into the season, the most bang for the buck player I'd have on any one of my 3 lists, Saturn men, Moon men, Mars men, would be the up-and-coming GOAT in training. I never thought in a million years that Patrick Mahomes would be getting disrespected to the tune of a 5.4 ADP, 53 overall. I never thought I'd come in here and I haven't even read the chat yet, probably have a few people that would say I'd rather wait, or I just never in a million years thought that I'd be looking at this. No one's saying, as Roger said, they wouldn't take Joe Burrow in round 6, 7. We're doing that too. Diversification, Roger. You got to diversify. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. Not even with Mahomes, because Mahomes could go down. Anybody can get hurt. Diversification. But I promise you, you will regret. You will most likely, barring injury or something crazy, you will almost definitely, 99.9% regret not taking advantage of this 52 overall. And what's even crazier is you look at a draft where I don't even know you look at a draft where you have such a good team building through the first 4 rounds of a draft, right? You're sitting there and you're like, this team looks good. I've got a running back, I've got a wide receiver, I've got balance. You can even get Laporta if you want. You can go in 100,000 different directions. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get Patrick Mahomes on top of your 4 guys. I'm gonna put a draft up and show you guys something, and then we're gonna look at that in a second. But I want to take some phone calls on this topic. I will love for you guys to chime in and let me know what you think about this ADP. I would love to know if anybody disagrees. And it's okay if you like Joe Burrow. I'm not saying don't take Joe Burrow in some drafts. I'm just saying, does anybody disagree that Mahomes is the best value in fantasy at 53 overall? Let me put on screen this draft that I just signed up for. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. I wanted to draft in this solo so that I didn't have you guys sniping me left and right. And if you guys want to draft alongside of me in a draft, all you got to do is hit that link that I pinned in the live chat. That link is Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty, and they will they'll double up to $100 in your first deposit. So just click that link in the live chat that's pinned, or use code Smitty. My draft begins in 22 seconds. You can see on screen I'm drafting from the 4 slot. Maybe I go JJ with this draft. Maybe I get lucky. I go JJ, Achane. If Bijan falls, I'll take Bijan at 4 probably. But this is a good draft slot to maybe take JJ. I like this draft slot. But we'll see where it falls. Maybe Jamar Chase or Bijan. I'll probably have my choice between those guys. You can see that Bijan's got an ADP of 5.3, JJ 6.1. As I mentioned earlier, Mahomes has got a 52.8 ADP. He is QB number 5, obviously, and he's going to be a fantastic snag for me later. I'll make sure to draft him if he falls to the right spot. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. 5.4 is what I'm going to have. I'm going to have his exact ADP. I'm going to have to make a determination if I'm going to push Patrick Mahomes to his absolute ADP at 5.4, because I draft at 5.4. So we'll see. Tyreek Hill just went. I assume Lamb's going to go right here. If Lamb doesn't go here, like if Jamar Chase goes here, I'll probably go Lamb. Okay, I'll probably go Jamar. I'll go Jamar. Whenever you could start wide receiver and all things are balanced, you're taking best player available. Chase and Bijan are about equal in some sense to me. I like to go wide receiver with the earlier pick because I'm going to get a bunch of 6 and 7 and 8 overall picks to have plenty of Bijan Robinson and Breece Hall shares. So I kind of do use my picks 1 through 4 to get my beak wet in the wide receiver early draft approach, because I want to have diversification going on, a variety of sorts. File on in. Appreciate every single one of you being in here. Comment if you've got any questions. Thank you for your super chats. How many people we got in here? Over 100 people in here, roughly, and only 27 thumbs up. Please punch the thumb up button. Breece Hall went, then it went JJ, then it went Bijan, then it went Amon-Ra. Let me go to the top. It went McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Breece Hall, Justin Jefferson, Bijan Robinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now this guy's on the clock. We'll see what he does. What's up, Morgan? Phone lines are open if anybody wants to dial in. Let me open the phone line up, and you guys can ring in if you have any questions, especially on or around this topic. Mahomes specifically is a topic I would love to get to, if you guys wouldn't mind. But if you got other questions, I'll certainly answer those. AJ Brown went after Amon-Ra St. Brown. Puka Nacua went next. I do feel like AJ Brown at 9 is a little early, not going to lie. Garrett Wilson at 11. He's par for the course for the 12-13 turn for me. That's where Garrett Wilson pretty much goes. I feel like Gibbs and Kyren are fantastic value here at this 12-13. If I were drafting right now, I go Gibbs and Kyren back to back. That would be me, though. I'm crazy. I don't know if we've got anybody in here that's from our crew. We may or may not. Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't hate that pairing. That's an early pick for MHJ, but very, very doable to get that kind of value back in return. Let's see if we can get Mahomes at 5.3. I may take him in the 4th round pick. I'm not sure. I kind of for deployment purposes in correlation with this live stream, I almost want to do it at the 5.3 and see or 5.4 and see if we can pull it off. In assumption that his value is also going to drop off of today's news and that ADP hasn't been affected yet. That somebody that's on the clock right before my pick might say, man, I don't know now. And then he falls to 5.4. Drake London is going really early. I'm not saying I don't like it. I love Drake London, but his ADP is getting to a point where I almost don't feel like I love the value anymore, even though I love him. Barkley, 14 overall. Harrison Jr., 13. Again, JT going 16. Kyren Williams falling to 17. If there is somebody that's more valuable than Mahomes, it would be Kyren. Kyren and Mahomes are probably the 2 best picks in all of fantasy football 2024. Kyren at 17 could be the number 1 overall running back. Like that and Mahomes, you strike that in the same draft, and you're in the money. Like that is a fan. I want Kyren and Mahomes in my 2nd and 5th round draft slots. How hard is that? Because Mahomes goes early round 5, pretty hard. But you could reach on one of them, and land both of them. Like I wouldn't be opposed to Kyren at freaking 4 overall if I didn't know I could get him in tons of other underdog drafts in these later draft slots. But sometimes you want to get him mixed with a couple other players. And okay, Malik Neighbors I think that's a little too early for me. I like Marvin Harrison Jr. a little more to make that early rookie pick in like mid round 2 or early round 2. Malik Neighbors, I'm more of like a 3rd round guy, but I don't hate it. I just don't love it. All right, let's see. We're on the clock right now. Devon Achane just went. That sucks. That was who we wanted. Man, that really hurt. Jacobs isn't bad here though. I don't mind Jacobs at all. We've got Ayuk. No, thank you. Too early. We've got Laporta. No, thank you. Too early. Jacobs ain't bad. I think that's pretty decent value. I know his ADP's a tad later, but I don't mind him being my RB1. I would have loved Achane. That really, really sucks that Achane didn't fall. So 3rd round pick coming up here. We have some deciding to do. Do we go full balanced attack? Do we grab one of these RBs? I'm not really feeling the RBs, to be frank with you. These wide receivers feel a little bit iffy to me. I feel like it's getting really strangely thinned out. I feel like Laporta might be somebody we strongly consider with this next pick, the 3rd drafted player, and it gives us a nice sense of balance. You get the wide receiver Jamar Chase, you get the running back 1, very underrated running back 1 in Jacobs, and then we go potentially Laporta. Kyren's gonna move up. I don't know, Mr. TD. He's falling. He's dropping. He's going to need to do something like in the preseason or some sort of like workout video or some sort of announcement by McVay that he's going to lead the league in rushing. That kind of news would definitely vault his value up, certainly up into the 8-9 territory again. But he's been falling. So I don't know that this is accurate as of this moment. There's nothing that indicates that he's going to climb. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, and Christian McCaffrey. Looks like draft slot number 1 wants to get some of that Houston Texan action. We got Chris Olave, DJ Moore, Tyreek Hill. I'm not a big fan of just going 4, 5, 6 straight wide receivers. I think those draft strategies are not my favorite at all in best ball. I don't care if somebody's won doing that. Doesn't mean that they're going to win this coming season. Doesn't mean that you can't land your 4 or 5 wide receivers the way you accumulate them in a way that's as good as this person's 4 or 5 wide receivers. Jalen Waddle goes. Look at all these wide receivers, this cluster of wide receivers over in the corner. I don't mind like Debo here. Evans is pretty good. Josh Allen, but we're going to try Mahomes later. I think Laporta's the pick here. We're going to go balance. We've got 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, and 1 tight end, and the best tight end in football. We arguably have the best wide receiver, or at least he could be. Chase could be number 1. We have very arguably the best tight end in fantasy football. So we got 2 potential number 1 overall players, or at least Chase is 1 to 5. And then Jacobs is quietly in that 6 to 10. So feel pretty good about that start so far. Kelsey in the 4th round and Mahomes in the 5th round stack. I like that. It's a really good approach, Morgan. And you'll see some of that done by me. And I even sometimes take Kelsey in round 4. Even if I have Laporta, I'm like, damn it. And then I take Mahomes, and then I have that kind of like flex thing going on. Which I don't like bully tight end approach in redraft or dynasty. But in best ball, it's different. Best ball, it's way different. Not to mention that Kelsey and Laporta could, that could be a flex, and it's not even a big deal. But it's much more appropriately deployed in a best ball draft. But people that draft like to try and consume all the tight ends and then trade one of them, that is the dumbest approach in redraft and in dynasty and regular fantasy football drafting. Best ball, it's unbelievably fun to grab 2 early quarterbacks in a 1 QB best ball because of the rotational scoring. It went Sam Laporta, Mike Evans, Debo, Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Michael Pittman, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf. Wide receivers are flying off the board. Definitely going to be advantageous potentially to get a wide receiver. If I can. Devontae Smith, Tank Dell, they're flying off the board. It's nice to see Tank Dell dip into round 4, even though it was, 4.1. Yeah, bully tight end is fantastic in best ball. Not good. Not good in any other format. It is a dumb approach in other formats. But best ball, bully quarterback and bully tight end in one tight end and one QB leagues are fantastic. Bully means you're basically like you're bullying people have different definitions for it or descriptions of the definition, that you're bullying everybody around by taking all the big names, but you're also, your lineup is getting bullied by who's going to outscore the other. So people kind of talk about it differently. Okay, let's see. We got quarterbacks. We got Mahomes as the third quarterback down. Our worst case scenario, if Mahomes gets snagged, we just go with Joe Burrow later. But I have a feeling with the way the players are falling, Kelsey just went. That kind of eliminates my potential bully tight end strategy here. Rashi Rice is here. No, thank you. No, thank you. Rashad White, McBride's there. I don't know what I'm going to do with this pick, to be honest. There goes McBride. Pacheco's not horrible to stack that. I mean, Hollywood Brown ain't half bad. That isn't half bad to go Hollywood Brown. Stroud win. Okay, so we're running the risk here. The question we got to ask ourselves is it worth letting Mahomes fall? There's 3 teams that could take him, because there's somebody here we want bad enough that we're like, we better take him. I like Adunze a lot. Pickens is really nice too. I feel like Pickens could fall though. Let's draft Pickens here, and let's just test. Let's stress test the Mahomes ADP. Lamar, right away. But at least we know he's not taking another tight end. But now Mahomes is the top quarterback available, and there's 2 teams that could go QB. I feel like this team wouldn't even dare go QB. They're loading up on wide receivers. This is a team that follows the I could be wrong and he takes Mahomes here, but this is a team that follows the protocol. Damn it. He follows the son of a bitch. Well, let's see here. That sucks. I like Pickens. It was a good pick, but we got to ask ourselves, this is kind of what I was going to do. I wanted to stress test it, but do I just take Mahomes there and still get Pickens here? Might have happened anyway. Let's go Pacheco here. I think Pacheco gets some run. Damn, that sucked. Still a good team though. But Mahomes' ADP's in round 5 though, which is fantastic. I mean, this is him going as early as he would go. Maybe this guy's watching too. It could be somebody watching right now. I don't know who that is. But Mahomes is in round 5. That's fantastic. Fuck, that freaking sucked, man. Oh, I wanted it so bad. I got screwed. 5.1 still proves the valid point. Absolutely. It's all right. It's all good. All right. So we're really close to this turn here. I don't know what I'm going to do when I get on the clock. Rashi Rice is still on the board. Not surprising. It's going to be interesting to see where somebody pulls the trigger. Burrow stack is good. Fallback, absolutely. And I don't think I'll push my luck with Burrow. You know. Anthony Richardson. We might even lose Burrow. Burrow's next up. We got to go all the way down. I'm okay with Kyler. Maybe we do a Kyler Murray build. which I'm fine with. Rashi Rice, there he went. Top of round 6. Kyle Pitts went at 6.1. Rashi Rice went 6.2. Kenneth Walker is good value at 6.3. I like that. That's pretty darn good. All right, we're coming down to our picks getting closer here. We got Ridley just went, Jalen Reed, Kenneth Walker. Who would I take here? So my team so far is Jacobs, Pacheco, Jamar Chase, George Pickens, Laporta. Very balanced, very good team. Would have been a lot better with Mahomes. That was the whole point of this strategy, but it's okay. We're going to try it again. I'm going to run it back again. Click in. Let's click in and join an underdog, either the $3 or the $10 one. Jump in and do one alongside of me, potentially with me if you get in. I just joined one. We're on the clock here. Let's just go Burrow. We're not messing around. We're not messing around. I mean, we got the nice stack. We got the nice Jamar Chase, Burrow stack. We've got Jacobs and Pacheco. We've got Pickens and Laporta. That's a really nice squad. That's a really nice squad. I'm fine with it. Pacheco getting more run than I think anybody expects. We're almost on the clock here. Jordan Addison's a nice pick. Monty's decent, given I've got Laporta. JSN I like a lot. Ramondre's very solid. Kyler Murray later. Mostert later. Okay. Almost on the clock here. We're on deck. I like the squad. All right, after I make this pick, I'm jumping into my other draft that I just created. I took Tyreek Hill real quick. I'll switch drafts. I won't jump back and forth, but okay, so I'm on the clock here. I need another wide receiver. Probably best to go... because I don't know the quarterback situation in Minnesota, even though I like Addison, I like JSN a little bit more. I'm going to go JSN. So my team so far, Chase, Pickens, JSN, Laporta, Jacobs, Pacheco. Okay, so we're gonna leave this draft. We're gonna go to active. We're gonna go to this little board and draft in this one. Oh, that's not it. We're... What draft is it? These are all... $14 picks away. It's not this one. We'll just wait till we're on the clock on that one. There we go. It's this one. Okay. So this draft right here, I got the 2 pick. We're going to try it now. We can get Mahomes probably a little easier. And if we don't want to push our luck, depending on who's in that 1 slot and what that Christian McCaffrey owner does, I could take him at 4.11 and just make sure we get Mahomes on this one. But I don't mind that we got Chase and Burrow together on that other one. I got Tyreek Hill on this one. Wouldn't mind getting Devon Achane, who just went. He just went at 18. So this went Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, JJ, Bijan, Amon-Ra, Hall, Puka, Kyren, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Jahmyr Gibbs, Barkley, Devon Achane, JT, and we're coming up here. on our pick. We've got, obviously, Josh Jacobs still available. We could go Adams. We could go... We're not going Laporta. We're not going quarterback. Really, we kind of want to go... I mean, Henry's a little early here, but I wouldn't be totally opposed to it. Devontae Adams just went, so I guess we're hoping we get Jacobs again. Jacobs is probably the guy that we want. All right, Brandon Ayuk just went. Yeah, I don't see anybody else that I mean, Henry's not a bad option, but I really think Jacobs is the guy. You know, wide receiver, I don't think anybody's worthy of this pick. I think it really is Jacobs every time in that scenario. And then maybe we consider Debo at the next pick. Maybe I go Laporta again and just do a variant of what we just did and compare the teams at the end of it. Sleeper updated their ADP. Yeah, we can do a couple, not tonight, but we'll definitely start getting into some mock drafts on Sleeper. Yeah, Jeff, we always do mock drafts on this channel, so we'll definitely do it. Don't worry. Sleeper didn't have their ADP updated too much last year, though, so we didn't do as many. So I could go Derrick Henry here. Probably my favorite running back pick here. Debo's gone, so I don't know that I love any of these wide receiver picks. I'm not forcing DJ Moore. Evans is okay. Laporta, it's really between Laporta and Henry. Let's go Henry, because I have a feeling that I'll maybe get McBride or Kelsey, and I'll regret taking Laporta. Not that I don't love bully tight end, but I think getting Tyreek, Jacobs, and Henry, I'm feeling pretty damn good about that. That variant is pretty sweet. I feel like this is a variation I haven't had in quite a while. Dawson, you're live. What's up, my guy?
What up? Basically, I'm calling in to evaluate tight ends and discussing whether, like, Laporta is worth it. If you could wait and get, like, Kyle Pitts with the new QB.
I mean, you just saw me draft him, so clearly I like him. Laporta's fantastic in the third round, bro. It doesn't mean... And I just passed on him, though. You saw the first draft I drafted him. I don't know if you watched. I got him in the third round. Right now I'm on the third round again, and I passed on him for Henry because I kind of want McBride or Kelsey with this upcoming fourth round pick. I don't know that I'll get him, but maybe I will. We'll have to see. It went DJ Moore, Diggs, Waddle, Michael Pittman Jr., Evans, Devontae Smith, DK Metcalf. We'll see if I can get one of those tight ends to fall. If they don't, there's Tank Dell. Then, you know, maybe I'll regret it. But there's still, the tight end pool is so deep. I'm not really worried about it if I miss out. But I have regretted sometimes taking Laporta an early third and then seeing Kelsey sitting there, seeing McBride sitting there. And if you aren't doing best ball, you can't do the double tight end move. It's a ridiculously dumb move. It's not bad in best ball to do, as I said, because of the rotational scoring, etc. But
Am I crazy for thinking Travis Etienne is potentially a better running back than Derrick Henry?
Well, I mean, he outscored. He was a top, 7-6 running back? Fantastic last year.
Yeah.
No, you're not crazy. It's good value. But Derrick Henry's going a little earlier. Etienne's going a little bit later. But, look, Etienne just went at the tail end of round 3. You can almost sometimes get him in 4. Derrick Henry, I took at the beginning of round 3. And he was there at the end of round 2, and I was considering him. So they're about 10 to 12 picks apart, which is good news.
I think I like Etienne more, to be honest.
I don't blame you. I mean, we keep hearing that they want to bring in and, use another RB, kind of slow roll his production a little bit more to keep him healthy, but then they don't do it. So, I don't know. There's Laporta. Laporta just went. God, Laporta lasted until that, man. I don't know. Hopefully this doesn't trigger McBride and then Kelsey drafting, but Laporta dropping to freaking 38 overall. Holy crap. 4.2. That's the furthest I've seen Laporta fall.
Last year, I had Mike Andrews, Laporta, and Trey McBride. A lot of the times I was starting McBride over Laporta because I like Kyler Murray stack.
Kelsey just went. I hope McBride's probably not going to last. Damn it. Damn it.
My tight ends were absolutely stacked last year.
All right, man. You got anything else, Dawson?
In a redraft setting, so like this is going to be Roma Doomsay's first season. Are you taking him or Waddle?
A Doomsday. I love a Doomsday, but it depends where he lands. But like right now, blind, I would say a Doomsday. But
I feel like if he lands with like the Chargers, I would be okay with taking a Doomsday.
He's to the moon, bro.
If he lands with Chicago, I don't know how good I feel with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Dawson, appreciate you.
Yeah, see ya.
Later. Call back if you got another one. Okay, looks like, Stroud, Mahomes. I'm going to take a gamble that Stroud goes before Mahomes. Does that guy have any chief players? No. So let's go McBride here. Let's go McBride here and then hope that he doesn't take Mahomes. And hope that he's not in this. If you're in this draft, bro. If you're in this draft and you snipe me, just to snipe me, I'm gonna snap this pen in half. We're trying to accomplish something here. I don't think this guy's in the chat right now, but okay, good. George Pickens. Let's go Mahomes here. Pretty easy choice. Accomplished the Patrick Mahomes in round 5 draft strategy. 1 out of 2 executed properly. The first one, in fairness, was at his exact ADP, so it was, pushing our luck to get him to fall, but absolutely feel like we smashed the hell out of that. Mahomes executed right in front of your face, live and in person, doing the walk, walking the walk, not just talking the talk. Look at that squad right there.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
That's a squad. That is a squad. Let's take a gander at it. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill, Trey McBride. Am I right or am I right?
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
Am I right or am I right? Is that solid or is it solid? I mean, I'm asking for a friend. I'm pretty sure we smashed the hell out of that. It's a freaking phenomenal team. Can you explain why you like Mahomes over CJ? It's not that they both aren't comparable. It's not that one can't outscore the other. It's not that Mahomes is my locked-in number 1 overall quarterback. He's actually not. Like, Josh Allen's my number 1 fantasy football quarterback. I think Mahomes and Hurts are tied for second, but doesn't mean Mahomes isn't, like, in a rotational setting each week, the number 1 scoring quarterback, and it doesn't mean that if him and Hollywood jive just perfectly, or Kelsey does have almost the full year or a full year, that he can't be the number 1 quarterback and number 1 overall fantasy football scorer. It's also like, I like Stroud's value too. And to your question and to your point, I will have videos on that too. Like, look at my Mars men list, bro.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men.
Who's right next to Mahomes? Stroud. So you're not going to hear me.
Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
You're not going to hear me talk crap about drafting Stroud. I'll have videos on why Stroud's a great pick and why you should not put all your eggs in one basket, and you should do a variant or two of what we're deploying here with a Stroud build team. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about diversity. 585 caller, who's this? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Olean, New York.
What's up? What's your name?
And Chris Henning.
Chris,
and
what's up?
I want to talk about Jeff Garcia. Do you remember when he got picked up? He got arrested.
Okay.
So he got dejected from the NFL for getting that DUI.
Okay.
He got shamed. And now I'm watching your stuff on Rice.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, if you could turn no offense to myself, I won't take offense to this, but I can't hear myself over myself. So if you could turn me down in the background, I'm
all right.
Yeah, I'm a little bit off. I'm a little bit out of control there.
This is the first time I've done this, and I just it's messed up.
What's messed up?
Because
What's messed up?
Jeff Garcia.
What? But okay. First of all, I don't know if you're. It sounds like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. It sounds like your team, Rashi Rice, like you're trying to defend him because of something that happened to Jeff Garcia.
No.
Okay, so what are you saying here? It's okay. It's okay, Chris. I'm here for you.
I just think that because this guy is in the spotlight so hard, he's in the spotlight. Rice is in the spotlight.
Okay.
And he should be held accountable.
Correct.
You feeling me? You feeling me?
Yeah. Okay. So number one, he is. This is a different day and age. Okay, Jeff Garcia. A lot of people watching this show right now, probably some of them anyway, didn't even watch him play. So it is hard to compare different generations of policing and justice system. There was no social media. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Chris, hold on a second. Social media is totally different now. Everybody's entitled in today's day and age. It's a whole different ball game. That doesn't mean that I believe he should get off. You're listening to me scream and yell as to why he shouldn't. So clearly, if your stance is that he should not get away with this, you and I are in agreement. I also think that this is very different than the Kamara situation. This is also very different than the Jeff Garcia situation. Jeff Garcia, Rice there's no evidence of alcohol whatsoever, and they will not find any because he abandoned the scene and he skated from that. And there's no way to go back, unfortunately, Chris. There's no way to go back and say, well, because you ran away, we're going to charge you with the DUI. You can't do that. You can't do that. What they need to do is crack down on the fact that he abandoned the scene and he did a hit and run. He had 8 counts, and then he ran from that. He should be held accountable for running. Now, whether they hold him to that or not, I don't know. Those charges had really nothing to do with hit and run. They were all, bodily injury, assault with
How can you hold Jeff Garcia accountable?
Come on, Chris.
And I may be even saying his name wrong, but it goes back to the same thing. This guy won a national championship, correct?
Chris, I don't know what you want me to say here, bro. You're talking about two different time frames in life. Like, everything was approached differently. The NFLPA negotiated different things in. The commissioner would put you on the exempt list for looking at him wrong. Now the NFLPA's negotiated this and this and this, and now the criminal justice process has to play out for the most part before the NFL can take any action at all. There's so many different things going on, okay? So stop focusing on Jeff Garcia and worry about that.
I think it's a valid point, though. To me, it is. To me, it is. It may not be to everybody else.
Okay.
But to me, it is.
But Jeff, what I'm trying to, or Jeff, I'm sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
Jeff
That's my brother's name.
Mr. Garcia. I mean,
Matter
Chris.
of fact with you.
Is this Jeff Garcia? Are you calling in to justify the
no,
trying to right the wrong?
My name is Chris Henning. My name is
Jeff
Chris
Garcia
Henning.
on his burner phone. Just still very pissed off.
No. But I like that motherfucker. I like
okay,
that
Chris,
motherfucker,
listen,
and
Chris,
he got
Chris,
done wrong.
Chris, it doesn't matter. Like
For
it
the
has
same
nothing.
thing.
You
the
can't. I know,
same
but
thing, except
it's
that
not the same
motherfucker
thing.
didn't cause a fucking pile up.
Chris, it's not the same thing at all. And that doesn't mean that he won't still do similar. He might be he does time. Maybe he sees, and he probably won't. But this is an entirely different situation. Just because you want it to be the same case, Chris, it's not. Just because you want it to be a DUI case because you believe he was drinking, and I believe he took off to let whatever was in his system clear his system. That's my opinion.
You just said you just cleared it right there just by saying that.
Chris, listen to what I'm saying though. We can't use that. The court can't use that. The criminal justice system can't use that. It's not even a discussion. So
you gotta have facts. You
keep bringing up Jeff Garcia is not even related. It's not even close to the same case. But you keep acting like he's gonna skate. He might not, bro. There's a warrant out for his arrest. So let's just wait and let it play out. If he ends up skating from this and he pleads down to a very minimal misdemeanor, then it is what it is, and we'll have a conversation. You can call in and be pissed off about that. But right now you're trying to compare apples to oranges. It's not the same thing. It's a different time frame. A lot of people here never even saw Jeff Garcia play, and you're trying to compare the two.
And you know what you're saying right there is it's a different time frame. It's still the same thing. It's still the same thing, sir.
Yeah, Chris, son of a B. It's not the same thing. The Chargers aren't even close to the same thing. He had this is a hit and run and a DUI. Like, they're not the same thing. What's going on here?
A DUI is a DUI. Okay? If he split to clear his head.
God, this guy's not listening. Chris, you're not listening. There's no proof that he had alcohol or any substance in his system. And it's a damn shame that he walked away and was able to allow that to be the case. But can we stop?
But when you know what the facts are.
The facts are you can't
People don't do this shit.
I'm going to let you go, Chris. Think about this. Stew on it for a while. Once we have a determination, call back in. You're running circles, bro. You're just running in circles.
Well, because that's what's going on.
Okay.
Circles.
Okay.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for answering.
Thank you, Chris. We'll see you later. Thank you, Jeff Garcia. I mean, Chris. I think that was Jeff Garcia on his burner. Man, that was like pulling teeth. I'm not gonna lie, Chris. If you're watching still, I love you, pal, but that was like pulling teeth. Good God. Google says my account is on hold no matter what CC I use. Can anybody not renew their membership? I don't think that. I think that's going to be a situation for you. I don't think that has to do with my YouTube exclusive memberships. Can you switch out the? You said you tried no matter what card. I don't know, Jeff. Is anybody else having a problem with that? But I don't think that that's something that's related to my channel whatsoever. All right, God, that was like pulling teeth, man. That was like pulling teeth with Chris. No offense, Chris. It was just you're trying to argue what the facts are. He probably was drinking. Even though that's not a fact, it probably is. I went a little heavy on the RBs here. I don't know if I made a mistake in not going wide receiver, but I got Patrick Mahomes, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Zamir White, Trey Benson. I've got Tyreek Hill, Hopkins, and JSN. I was also distracted by Chris's logic, which, Chris, you're not wrong that it's frustrating, but I mean, he just kept arguing, but it is the same thing. It's kind of, Chris's argument was kind of like saying, you know, so and so held out and he got paid. So if this guy holds out, he's for sure getting paid because so and so held out and he got paid. So there's no doubt about it. The other guy's getting paid because it's facts. It's like not even the same situation. Oh, bro. One fantasy football membership. Oh, Peanut Butter and Waivers tried to gift it. He just took a random stab and he gave it to H-Town. H-Town, appreciate you. And Peanut Butter, appreciate you giving that away. You are the man. I like my team so far. That other team, by the way, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Fields, Jacobs, Pacheco, Ramondre, Chase, Pickens, JSN, Jamison Williams, Tyler Lockett, I timed out. Quentin Johnson, I timed out. Jahan Dotson, Laporta. I've been kind of timing out over there because I'm focused on this draft right here. But maybe I'll go Isaiah Likely just to get a backup tight end. Okay, so I got that on lock. I'm coming up here on my pick here. Here's this draft so far. I don't know if we're going to go much longer. Today's show wasn't necessarily about drafting. I'll answer Ron's call, and then I'm going to get out of here, I think. But Ron, what's up, Ron? I don't know if you heard that caller, but that was hilarious. He's just... Yeah. That sounded like I don't know who that sounded like. That guy makes arguing with Ron easy.
It sounded all a little bit like Scared Scott.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that's dead set on something. No matter what you tell him, he's just gonna repeat back what he's thinking. You know. Like that was like, I always say the example of when my mom would park in front of the basketball hoop when I was like 12 and 13 and 14 years old. And I go into her purse and I grab her keys and I go, Mom, I'm going to back your car out so I can play basketball. And in her head, she has that I'm taking her car on the town. And she's like, you're not taking my car out for a spin. You're not on insurance. I'm like 14. Of course I'm not. And I'm like, Mom, I'm just backing your car out so I can play basketball. Didn't matter what I said to her. The next words out of her mouth were, you know, if you go on a joyride, I'm the one that gets in trouble. Mom, I'm just backing the car out so I can play basketball. You're not on insurance. It was like I was talking to a brick wall. And I felt like Chris, no offense, but Chris he was not having it. He was not having it. It was not something he was going to. Here, my team, I need a wide receiver. Ladd McConkey's pretty good. He's probably the best receiver available here. There's no one even close to Ladd, I think, at this point. I'm going to roll
KJ, get him for free.
Who?
Get KJ Osborne for free.
You sound like Chris.
I'm telling you now, Smitty, KJ Osborne is going to be a sleeper breakout.
Maybe.
In New England. He will be. It's 99.9% guaranteed he will be. You know what? Kirk Cousins said of KJ. He was asked a question about, what player that's also gone on do you like see doing well, and he mentioned KJ. He says KJ hasn't had an opportunity. I felt bad for KJ because he was behind JJ and stuff, and he never got his he never got to be fully.
I got you. It doesn't change my mind, right?
Not fully given a chance to.
I got you.
To,
Fortunately, I just use my eyeballs. My eyeballs might deceive me, but I don't see. I see KJ Osborne as more of a product of Kirk Cousins than an actual really, really good receiver. Meaning, you take Kirk away from him, I think he goes down, not up.
No, Kirk is the one that says that.
No, I know.
Got a lot.
I know, but it's his boy. He likes him. I mean, someone asked me, to list off the best callers in the world. I'm going to say callers that call into my show. that Ron can sure call in. He's a good caller. I just don't. It doesn't change my mind. Let him change my mind.
I'm just saying now. Remember when I was like, when you weren't so high on Kirk going to Jacksonville and you thought he was overpaid and he wasn't going to do nothing there.
Real quickly,
I was high on him.
Yeah.
Same thing's going to happen with KJ.
Okay, we'll see. I didn't hate Christian Kirk. I just thought he was overrated. I still do think he's a little overrated, but he did outplay by expectation for sure. Like, I'll admit that. But I didn't hate him. I just like KJ Osborne's like an accessory. Christian Kirk was at least like a legitimate wide receiver. Hey, real quickly, Jeff Tebow. He's saying he's having trouble with his YouTube exclusive membership. I have no control over that. I don't have a button I can flip on to give you a membership. So you have to go through. It's all handled through YouTube transactions. That's why I think that you need to reach out to them. No one else is having issues that I see of renewing their membership. But
ask him if he's doing it on a computer or if he's trying to do it on his phone.
Yeah, try both of them. And like someone said, restart your phone. Restart your phone. That handles about 90% of all issues if you just restart whatever you're working with. But I have no control. I can't flip any switches. It's all done through YouTube. Safe and secure YouTube transaction. I have nothing to do with it. I can't even gift one if I want. And anybody that gifts them has to gift out at random. They can't even decide who. It allocates it at random. That's why Peanut Butter and Jelly gifted one. He tried to hit you with one, and he missed. And he hit H-Town.
Hit H-Town?
Yeah, he was trying to... Jeff was saying he didn't have a membership, and so Peanut Butter and Jelly just randomly said, yeah, he's one of our users, one of our YouTube followers. He said... He's tried to shoot out a random gifted membership and just hope that it hit his account, but it got gifted to H-Town. We have Ron Navy gifted 10 memberships, and the lucky individuals are McNamara. Let's see here.
I got silver wrap.
McNamara, the Isaac, Birdman was gifted one. I'm surprised Birdman didn't have one. Legion was gifted one. Marty was gifted one. G Money was gifted one. Robert was gifted one. Asher's Coffee was gifted one. Joe Vang was gifted one. Silver Rapture was gifted one.
Hey, there's Jeff. Tebow, he figured it out. He welcome membership. He's now a loyal member.
Tebow, what'd you have to doing to fix that? You probably just restarted your phone, I bet. George from the Bay, you're live.
Yo, Smitty, what up, man?
What's up, bro?
I see you got Mahomes on the screen, and you're saying that he's a steal of 2024. I'm actually thinking that the Chiefs are going to take a big step back this year, just because of all the drama. Kelsey's getting older.
You say that like you haven't watched any of the show yet so far, by the way. You're like, yeah, I see on the screen there, you got something poking out there, like the whole stream hasn't been about Mahomes. Did you just step in, George? Did you just walk into the?
I just stopped in. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What did I miss? Go ahead.
Well,
Give me a recap.
that's part of the allure here is the Rashi Rice situation is gonna lower his value even more. He's going at 5.4 overall, bro. 5.4 overall. There's no bigger steal in fantasy football 2024 than maybe Kyren Williams, depending on where Kyren does fall in a draft. We saw him drop to 17, which is just probably the steal of that entire draft. But I truly believe that he could crap the bed hardcore and earn you well above 5.4 ADP, Patrick Mahomes. But I think Mahomes is going to be on a mission in 2024. I think they do have a very strong shot at winning a championship, thus vaulting him into this GOAT conversation. First quarterback and team first quarterback to ever win 3 straight championships in a row, a three-peat. It's going to be the talk of the town. I just think they're going to have a magnificent year. Hollywood Brown stepping in. That with Rashi Rice would have been like icing on the cake, but it's okay because they weren't in a groove. Everybody was kind of off kilter all year, and I believe that you're going to see Mahomes and Hollywood fill that void, whatever happens with Rashi Rice. Not to mention that they have this number 32 overall pick, and they're probably going to use this for one of these rookies like Leggett and kind of plan as if they're not going to have Rashi Rice. I think they're going to have a stacked wide receiver room by the end of it all. Not to mention they're still potentially in the mix to maybe even make a trade for a wide receiver. We'll have to see. You know, Higgins comes to mind. Ayuk is probably out of the question because it's a team that the Niners just would not want to send Ayuk to. But there's certainly going to be some Higgins talk kicked around. But I understand why people are potentially wondering if they're going to see a carryover of 2023 struggles into 2024. But we've seen quarterbacks have off years. We've seen teams have off years. This team had an off year, and they won the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl, and they had one of their worst years they could have possibly throw down all year long. They got it all together by the end of it, bro. And you know, Kelsey probably has the 1 year left. Hollywood Brown's looking fantastic. Like I said, they're going to bring in some rookies. They're going to have a pretty deep wide receiver room by the end of it all. You watch. Mahomes is going to throw for 40-plus touchdowns. Shorter field. These kickoff rules are going to create a shorter field. Mahomes is going to own that.
I'm not that big on Hollywood Brown. I think he doesn't have great route running. He has problems catching the ball sometimes with his hands. And he's not that physical. He's not that good at contested catches.
Yeah, I think he's going to fit in just
That's
fine.
my opinion.
But doesn't mean he even has to be the number one. Like I said, Leggett, you know, McConkey, Ricky Parasol, Keon Coleman. Maybe they say, you know what, we're not waiting on Rashi Rice. And who knows if they even release him or whatever, but what if they move this pick up? What if they're on the clock and they move up and they grab the Keon Coleman? They turn somebody into another Rashi Rice immediately. It's certainly in the cards. Not to mention, like, I don't even care. Mahomes is proven. He just mixes it around. It doesn't even really matter who they are. He's got that 40+ potential capability. And again, it's not like I'm trying to buy him at 40+ touchdown pricing. I'm buying him at 5.4. I'm buying him at, if he craps the bed, I break even. Actually, I better than break even, because he's no matter what going to earn 5.4 value, even if he craps the bed. But this is win a league, or you're even more than breaking even. That's the definition of a good fantasy football pick, George. When you can say to yourself, if this craps the bed, I'm still ahead, and if it doesn't, I win my league. Straight up. That's the definition of a low, almost zero risk.
I think you've got the best like salesman skills, because you're starting to get me to think that maybe I should be taking more Mahomes right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, you should, just because, like, how are you gonna fail, bro? How are you going to fail at 5.4? It's not like he's going in the third round. You know, I don't think anybody's adjusting and adapting to the ability that this guy has to bounce back and have a magnificent 45-plus touchdown passing season with shorter fields. You know, like, they're getting the football at midfield now. Mahomes is going to dice up people. I'm telling you. It's going to be unreal.
So my main concerns are obviously Kelsey's getting older, and like, you know, last year we talked about I'd rather get out a year early than a year late. So, you know, do you think maybe that the Rashi Rice was just a product of the system, and maybe they could just plug anybody in and then just, you know, get another guy, a rookie like Coleman or
partially a product of the system, but I think he was a really good receiving prospect, but yeah, I think more so than anything, like, you put a Leggett in there, he's gonna do the same thing. You know, like, I think Rashi Rice was no more talented than Leggett or a McConkey or even a Ricky Parasol. I love those guys, and any one of those guys will be as good as Rashi Rice was last year. It doesn't mean that Rashi Rice wasn't what he was. He was in KC. You can't separate situation from player. He was what he was. Some people will take great offense to that. I guarantee you a couple comments are going to come in saying, Smitty, you're out of your mind. Rashi Rice was a phenomenal prospect, blah, blah, blah. So is Ladd McConkey. So is Leggett. So is Malachi Corley. So is Keon Coleman. What if Brian Thomas Jr. falls a little bit and KC trades up for him? I just have a suspicion that, and that I don't even need that to happen. I'm not backing off my prediction because, again, George, he's going 5.4. Even if he mixes it around with some mediocre talent, and you know that the Chiefs are going to draft a rookie. You know they're going to. They're going to 100% draft a rookie wide receiver, if not like 2 of them, maybe 3 of them, and they cut 1 of them or something. I'm not saying they're all going to be big, high-profile guys, but
yeah, this is definitely the year to do it. I mean, the draft class this year is just phenomenal.
It is. It's the best draft class we've seen in quite some time. And I think that at the wide receiver position, and I think that you're gonna see a McConkey or a Leggett or somebody on this roster that will look just as attractive as Rashi Rice out there running routes. And then you add in Hollywood Brown, and Ron says he doesn't love him. There are people that are on the fence about Hollywood, and I get why. There's definitely arguments of hands, toughness, whatever. But he's out there working hard right now. There's footage of those two really trying to build that rapport up, and I love to see that. I think Kelsey, there's footage of Kelsey really working hard, trying to put down one more good year. And I actually, when I saw him with his workout footage, and you can't get too excited about workout footage, it can be so deceiving. But I really feel like this guy's determined to put one more amazing year out there. And I think that he was so out of his own head. He was so in his own head, but out of his mind in love last year. He wasn't focused, man. He wasn't focused at all. He let that whole year kind of unravel. And I just think there's a chance he puts together one more really, really good season, even if it has some missed games. You know, that's what you worry about with a player like him. I think the talent's still there. He's also the kind of guy that Mahomes is going to get the ball to him. He's not going to have to go get the ball. So like a running back dropping off an age, they got to hit the hole. It's all on them. A wide receiver, it's kind of a mix. It's on them to get open. It's on the quarterback to get him the ball. Tight end is just a different position, and it's not like he's out quicking anybody anyway. It's really about him out strength, you know, the strength and the overpowering of defenders and just being a big body out there. And I think Mahomes could still deliver 10 plus touchdowns to him, even if his yardage is down a little bit. So you got 10 touchdowns going right there. He's just going to mix it all around. This guy runs. Mahomes is one of the best running quarterbacks. Doesn't even need to. Sometimes he runs less than he does the next year, and you know, but he's phenomenal. I'm just telling you, George, at 5.4, it's a no-brainer. Like, at least do it in 1 or 2 of your leagues. At least do it in a handful of best ball. Just make sure you have some Mahomes shares, because he cannot fail you unless he gets injured and he's out for the year. He cannot fail you at 5.4. He can only break even or a little bit higher than break even if he craps the bed. But my guess is that his team's gonna look very different come Chiefs. The Chiefs do a lot of things right. They're a really good organization when it comes to putting together a team, how they rebuilt their offensive line overnight when people said they never rebuild their offensive line again after they signed Mahomes to a 10-year, $500 million deal. Everyone said they'll never be able to buy another thing ever again. Within one calendar year, they had a completely revamped offensive line that was called one of the best offensive lines in football. They traded Tyreek Hill and started winning championships. Like, this team knows what in the hell it's doing. Andy Reid and Mahomes are just an unbelievable duo. And if you think for a second, looks like somebody else gifted memberships. Who else gifted memberships here? Jeff gifted them. What did Jeff end up saying happened, Ron?
Oh, he said he got it to work on his phone, but he was charged $2.99 instead of $1.99.
Yeah, I think the prices got upped, and so anybody that renewed it, I think I had it too. I'm sorry about that, Tebow. Thank you for gifting those memberships as well. Tebow, Ron, gifting memberships. You guys are amazing. Anyway, enough of that because we did a whole show on it. George, I don't want to repeat myself over and over and over. So just rewatch the show for more on that. But
I'm surprised
no worries.
you like.
Surprised I like what?
Oh, I'm surprised you like Mahomes in 5 more than you like Burrow at 7 or 8.
I love them both, man. I mean, I've done so many Burrow videos on 6 and 7 and 8 value. I love both. Absolutely love both. You'll see it. Believe me, you'll get your plenty dose of Burrow around 6-7 videos. That's coming, no doubt about it. But this is all about diversification, you know. Like, is Joe Burrow in the top 10 best values in fantasy football 2024? 100%. So you're not going to get an argument from me. You're only going to get confusion because you're going to say, "Wait a minute, I thought Mahomes was." Well, there's going to be 10 guys in my actually there's going to be 12 guys in my top 10. There's always the running joke here on this channel is there's always 7 guys in my top 5, there's always 12 guys in my top 10. You're going to see at least 10 videos on this is the best pick in fantasy football. Remember I had the best 4 picks in fantasy, Jahmyr Gibbs, and we had those picks. You're going to see Mahomes and Burrow together as the best picks at quarterback in fantasy football 2024. No hesitation in my mind. Anthony Richardson is climbing, otherwise he would probably still be there too.
I can't wait to see the Cousins one.
Yeah, that will come out in... I'm sorry, we're breaking up there.
Yeah, you know what number he's gonna be having?
Yeah, 14 or is it 14? 16?
No.
Oh no, 18.
18.
Yeah, he was gonna take 8, but he took 18.
Yeah. You know why, right?
Is it 18th season?
No. Kyle Pitts wears 8.
No, I know that. He was going to take his number,
And
but
Kyle,
they wouldn't let him.
no, he would have. No, they would have let him.
They told him that they would make him buy all the jerseys, and it was like it was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, which was crazy. Which doesn't make... I mean, that's kind of weird.
It's stupid, but it is what it is.
Well, you know, Debo switched back to 1. That was his number in college.
So why did they make him buy $100,000 worth of jerseys? I don't get it.
I think they did.
It all depends on the fan base, on how many jerseys are made and how many are out there to sell, because they've already got all these jerseys made with Pitt's number 8 on there. So, and that extrapolates to that hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of jerseys that they got on the market right now for Kyle Pitts. So,
yeah.
I think it's going to be phenomenal. You know what Pitts told him, right? Pitts told him
Yeah, he just
I'll
said
give
we
you the jersey, no problem. Just
give me
my
targets. Yeah, we did a video. We did a whole video
Yeah.
on this. That's why I think you weren't there for it. We did a whole video on it. Yeah, you said give me targets. That's all I want. We also what we did is we did a video on also on what's his name? The guy from Mike Florio. Mike Florio said that Kirk Cousins picked up the phone, called Kyle Pitts and said, "What do you want for the jersey?" before the deal was ever announced. And Kyle Pitts immediately retweeted his tweet saying, "You guys will just say anything to say anything." That didn't happen. And so it made Mike Florio look stupid. Well, it ended up like literally 48 hours later or something along the lines, the announcement happened. Cousins was going to Atlanta, and then they had that conversation. But they legitimately had it right after that, not before. And he said, "What do you want for the jersey?" And he said, "Just give me targets." And they laughed, and then they were gonna exchange it, and then they were told that they'd have to buy all those jerseys. So yeah, but it was funny because
do you think the Falcons stack is going to be like the highest owned stack in best ball this year?
Be one of them.
which who? What two players?
The
Falcons
Falcons
stack.
stack. So like a Kirk, Bijan, London, Pitts. If
I
you
mean,
get all
it'll
four
be
of
up.
them.
It'll be up there, but the Stroud stack will be highly desired. The Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson stack.
Yeah, whatever.
He's the best thrower that the Niners have ever had, according to Matt. What's his name? Miyako or Matt Miyako. Matt Miyako says he throws the best football in the history of the Niners over Joe Montana, Steve Young, even Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, it'll be up there. I think ultimately you're gonna see a stack like Dak and Lamb still gonna be highly touted. Burrow and Chase will be still fantastic. JJ Cousins is gone. That sucks. Puka stack. I mean, yeah, I guess Hurts and AJ Brown will probably be one of the biggest ones. I'd say Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler are going to be pretty damn popular. I think the Houston one's probably the most popular one. In which one, I don't know. I guess combinations of all those guys. But the stacks are kind of weird because it feels like we don't have, aside from Burrow and Chase. Burrow is going in the 6th and 7th round. That's what the next video, when we talk about Burrow being one of the best picks in fantasy, it's going to be about that stack. A lot of the video too. And that's why Burrow and Chase are still the best stack in fantasy, probably. We've got the triple stack, which I don't know that we could even say that it's a good value anymore. The triple stack, let me play that real quick. Here's the pancake stack.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emoji.
I don't think we can even have the triple stack here because Collins and Dell are very expensive. And but it's still a fun stack. It's still a fantastic stack. So I guess it depends how we're defining it. But like the Burrow and Chase one is the most valuable one because the cost of entry on Burrow is free. He's 6-7 round material. It's fantastic. You get Jamar Chase and Burrow at the cost of a round 1 and a round 7. That's unbelievable when you can go and attack the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th round and have Burrow and Chase sitting on the outside. It's a sandwich.
Here's the thing about the Houston stack that's kind of concerning a little bit. Remember that Stroud didn't have those two receivers the whole year both playing together. They both exceeded expectations when, like, Dell got hurt, then it was all Nico. So, and you had a little bit of Noah Brown put in there for a couple of weeks where he went out big, but we don't really know how that dynamic's going to work. Now you're throwing Diggs, and I don't know. I do know that people know how Cousins was getting the ball around up there in Minnesota, and they do know with London, Pitts, and Bijan, he's going to get the ball to all three of those guys, and they're just going to light it on fire.
Yeah, I have a feeling, as I said before, that the three wide receivers in Houston are going to be on a rotation of sorts. It'll be something along the lines of instead of a 1A or a 1B and 1B, because I think Nico and Dell, neither was a 1A last year. They were both 1Bs. I think these are going to be 2A, 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 or even 2B, 2B, 2B. I don't think any one of them is necessarily, until one gets hurt, going to like thrive all year. It's going to be this like rotation, because that's the way Stroud kind of is proven to deliver the ball. So I don't know. That's my fear, is that it's going to be this like even flow of
almost like committee.
Yeah, so that's why they're not valuable at round 2 territory. That's why Dell, if he falls into round 4, Dell's the only wide receiver I'll want, but I don't like Dell in round 3 currently. Tebow, you're live, bro. What's up?
What's going on there, Smitty? No, good to talk to you guys. And I just wanted to kind of chime in regarding the whole thing that Ron was talking about as far as the Houston stack, and it really kind of goes to like overstacking. It costs too many picks to really get all of that Houston team, and yet week in and week out, the Dell, Diggs, Collins, they're all not going to go off. It's maybe going to be one of those. And then if you do that overstacking in best ball, then you're kind of killing yourself by getting that whole team stack, because that whole team doesn't, throughout the year it probably does, but not week in and week out.
Well, keep in mind, and this is where it will be amazing to do it. And I will do it. I don't care what draft value I've got to spend. I will own all of the Houston Texan players on one team, is in the weekly winners, because there will be a day, probably 2 or 3 or 4 weeks out of the year, where Stroud has 5 or 6 touchdowns and he spreads it all around, and they each have 1 and one of them has 2. And in weekly winners, one week has nothing to do with the next week. It's all reset every week for 20K. So
and I don't play the weekly winners.
You should.
But I totally I'm just not on Underdog. I'm a PPR type of guy, so I'm drafters. And
get on Underdog. Use code Smitty and try it. You'll
trust me.
You'll enjoy it.
I may give it a whirl there.
Give it a whirl.
It's definitely interesting. I just fucking totally lost my thought. I apologize.
You what?
God, what was
your thought? Your thought.
I lost my thought.
I thought you said you lost your pot. Okay. Well, CJ Stroud averaged 2 TDs a game. He probably will. He could average more than that, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
George, quick, jump in the bay real quick. See if it's not still in the bay.
What's up?
Jump in the bay and see if his thought fell in the bay. Try to find it.
My thought it's probably I had too many cards on the brain. I was playing a lot of poker tonight there, fellas. So.
You know what? This Texans stack reminds me a lot of the San Francisco 49ers stack. It's going to be hard to pick, like he's saying, week by week, which player is going to be. And, it's pretty much the same system. Bobby Slowick's running the same system. So they're going to spread the ball around. I think, honestly, the best player to invest in, the best player to invest in my opinion, is probably going to be Joe Mixon.
I don't know. I don't know if Joe Mixon's got it left in the tank. But again, like I was saying earlier, it's going to look like this. Everyone's going to be so excited about it. Tank Dell again was 1B, and Nico was 1B, and you could even say maybe you probably say they're 1B and 1B. Neither was 1A. They just weren't. They rotated all year long. But now you got 3 of them. They might even be 2B, 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 or 2A, 2A, 2A is probably what we all want. So we're not going to see anybody. We're going to see somebody each week vault up to be the 1A. But I think in general, you're going to look at these wide receivers like they're elite wide receiver 2s. And they're just like on the year just because of the rotation. Now, as soon as one of them gets hurt, I think we can get back to if Diggs were to get hurt because he's an old dog, we're going to get back to 1B and 1B. But people forget, everybody that wants to say that Nico's the better receiver over Tank Dell, before Tank got hurt, it was 100% the consensus that Dell took over. There's no debating it. It wasn't that Nico wasn't like, they still could have rotated and still been 1B, 1B, but if you were to lean one way, Dell took over. More so than Nico. They still would have had their days, and then as soon as Dell went down, everybody saw Nico flourish, and then everybody wants Nico and says Nico's the best. But the only player worth drafting, Nico's not worth drafting. He's going in round 2. Diggs is not worth drafting. He's going in round 2. Stroud's amazing in round 5. Him and Mahomes and Burrow, you could say, are the best 3 quarterbacks in fantasy value-wise. Dell's the only wide receiver going to be worth drafting as long as he's in round 4. Currently, he's at the 3-4 turn. He hasn't fallen into round 4 permanently yet. So we just need to wait and see if he falls in. If he falls in round 4, then I like it. I think Dell's pretty damn good in round 4, but I don't like him in 3. I don't. As much as I love Tank Dell, it's not a good draft slot.
Where's Mixon at?
I don't know. Could he do well? Yes, but he is Ziggy. How old is Joe Mixon? Isn't he turning 29? Wasn't he just 28? Ziggy, how old is Joe Mixon?
29,
Joe
I think.
Mixon is 27 years old and was born on July 24th,
Ziggy off.
1990.
Okay, so he's turning 20. Is that true, or is Ziggy wrong? Let me take I always take Frank Gore at the last pick.
Hey, where did
Mixon was actually pretty young when he came in, but let me check.
Let me see. Says he's 27.
what round did Cousins go?
But he'll be turning 28 this year in the middle.
Yeah. So my saying on that it's like you have 1 year at that 28-year-old season where you may or may not do it. The only reason I would be a little bit skeptical of Joe Mixon staying healthy, so let me just say that we've already visually seen him drop off. McCaffrey's entering his 28-year-old season, and we have not seen McCaffrey drop off. Therefore, my concern with McCaffrey is injury. So he could play elite football, but then because he's 28, does he miss half a season? Does he miss a handful of games? Cooper Kupp did not show drop-off, but because he was 30 years old, and that's the cutoff for receivers, he missed handfuls of games. Aaron Jones was phenomenal, but he couldn't stay healthy. He was 28 years old. Austin Eckler, 28 years old. He did show signs of drop-off, and he couldn't stay healthy. He had both of them. But just because you look good doesn't mean you'll stay healthy at 28, and just because you did good at 27, like Eckler did, doesn't mean you get to run into your 28-year-old season and go balls out. Look how good Eckler. People forget how amazing Eckler was in 2023. It was laughable to people when I said avoid him at all costs. He's entering his 28-year-old season, and he dropped off the face of the earth. And so McCaffrey, it's really easy to be like, oh, he's going to be great, but look at Eckler. Eckler didn't show signs of drop off, but he certainly did during his 28-year-old season. So McCaffrey's a big risk. Mixon's a big risk. They're both entering their 28-year-old season. And you can say, oh, they're different. Look at Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's an outlier that can never be tied to any of this, because this is the facts. You bet against a 28-year-old running back, you're going to win 8 times. And Mixon's got enough mileage, and he's shown proof of falling off. Visually, I'm going to stay away at cost, but it depends on his cost. I mean, if we look at his ADP right now on Underdog Fantasy, which is, in my opinion, the best ADP around, because these are people that are aggressively drafting constantly. And so you got a sense of what paying people are going to, that's why it's the best ADP around. People are paying hard-earned money to draft, and so the ADP is very accurate. So 56 overall is his ADP. It's not awful. I don't hate it, but am I drafting Mahomes over Mixon 10 times out of 10? Yes. Am I drafting Stroud over Mixon 10 times out of 10? Yes. Am I drafting Pacheco over him? Yes. Kenneth Walker? Probably. Am I drafting as far as wide receivers around 50? Am I drafting Hollywood Brown? Probably. Hopkins? Probably. JSN? Probably. At tight end, who's going in the 50s? At 54, 55, 56? Mark Andrews, Kincaid, Kyle Pitts. Give me those guys all day long. And the quarterback. So I just find myself at any position of need. There's a handful of guys that take over Joe Mixon. But, bro, I could be wrong on Joe. He could go absolutely bonkers, but he could also go bonkers for 2 or 3 or 4 games and then get hurt. You know, so my advice would be to consider trading him high if you do draft him.
Hey, Smitty, where did last draft you just did?
Where did who?
Kirk Cousins go? Where did he get drafted at?
Kirk Cousins. Let's see. A little bit.
Undrafted. Undrafters in the last.
We're underdog here, pal. We don't mention that gets you. Yeah, unfortunately, that gets.
Finish him.
Call
terminated.
Oh, really?
That's
Tebow.
Tebow.
No. Oh my God.
George, call back. It wasn't George. It was Tebow. I hung up on George. It was Tebow. Sorry, George.
Yeah, you hung up on Tebow.
Sorry, George. It was Tebow that did
What
it, right?
the hell?
Was it George?
They're both
No.
so there you.
Dude,
got
Underdog
confused.
Fantasy is the only thing I play now.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. Tebow was the one that said it, though, right, Ron?
Yeah, it was him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Tebow's the
I
one
haven't
that
even
said-
played any season long.
Tebow, you can
fantasy.
Tebow, you can call back. Tebow, you can call back. It's just it's a little unwritten rule here.
So where did he go?
I don't know. I hung up on him, but Tebow, call back in.
No, where did?
I'm
did
trying
Cousins
to
get
pull. I'm
drafted
trying to
at?
pull it up. Hold on. Okay, here's the
Probably
draft.
too high.
No, probably too low. Meaning that his value, Cousins' value, is
11th round. 11th round.
yeah, that's great value for a number one starting 4,000-yard quarterback that's got Bijan, London, and Pitts. You can't beat that value.
Not bad.
Tebow, you can call back in.
round.
Tebow's probably wondering what the hell happened.
So Ron, I'm curious to know what's your number one stack that you're targeting in Underdog?
Well, it
gonna be
should be a
Cousins.
surprise.
It's gonna be Cousins.
It's the Cousins stack because
He
you
lives
can
and
get
dies
him
by
for
Cousins.
almost nothing, and you're gonna get 4,000 yards out of him minimum.
Yeah, but what
You're
about
gonna get probably
what about London's
touchdown.
second round value though? That's really tough.
Yeah, London. That's the whole thing about that stack is London's high,
Yeah.
but you gotta have faith that Kurt's gonna make him bring out everything, his whole potential, or we're finally gonna get to see London and Pitts just ball out, which we haven't done in the last, since they've been drafted. So that's what Kurt brings to the table. He's going to get the best out of those players.
I don't think Tebow's calling back in. It might have pushed a button with him. Maybe like hanging up on him is.
He's probably like, I just got a membership.
I know he
gifted membership.
He just bought a
Hung up on him.
He just bought a membership, dropped a $50 bold prediction, and I just hung up on him. That goes to show that no one's immune to it. No one's immune to it.
Oh, you fucked me plenty of times.
I tried to blow off the first time he was mentioning other companies, and I kind of just interrupted him, but then he kept doing it, so we had to nix him. But he's it's not like he has to, we put people on a no calling in for 1 week before, so we're gonna give him a pass on that. I mean, Tebow, you just got to dial the phone line back again, pal. I don't know where he went. Gordon began 3 full years, then tapered off. What are we talking about? London could be the new Jefferson. Love London. I just wish he was a third rounder. I'm going to say the best stack by far is Burrow and Chase. One of them is going to cost you a first rounder, obviously, in Jamar Chase, but he's going at a good value. He's going middle of round 1, and he could be really the number 1 overall wide receiver. So I think he's kind of a value inside round 1. I think Chase is actually a value inside round 1.
If it's healthy.
And then you get Burrow. You get Burrow for free.
You do, but your first round. I mean, if Chase isn't on the field playing, then
okay. But name a better stack. Name the best stack then, because London's in the second round. We could make same arguments of that being kind of dangerous. Maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. costs kind of a lot. Even though I like it. A.J. Brown's costing number 11, 7, 8 overall. He's going high. So, the wide receiver quarterback stack is harder. It's hard to get something that is perfect and feels ideal.
I think it has a lot to do. It has a lot to do with your draft position, obviously. And this offseason, I've had a lot of late first round picks, so I've been building a lot of jet stacks.
How about one of the most crafty stacks in general would be McBride and Kyler? That's pretty solid. Because you could maybe pick that up if you're lucky in early round 5, McBride, and then Kyler's going as late as, good God, 7, 8. So you're talking about maybe 5 and maybe 7 or 8. That's a pretty damn good stack. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think we'll have to we will. I'm sure you will.
Where's Tebow?
Relook at the stack once the draft happens, and we figure out where like a Dunze is going, and Harrison and
Tebow.
All these guys.
Where'd you go, Tebow? Yeah.
Brock, of course. Even Brock Bowers.
I can't wait till the draft is finally over, and then we got all our positions where all these players fall. That's the day I'm looking forward to.
Because the other stack that you have in is Golf, Sun God, Laporta, and Gibbs.
You know what I'm more about. You know what I'm more about. I think I might even create a best ball video on this. I'm gonna do a lot more best ball geared uploads, like some premieres and such. I think what I'm gonna be promoting more than anything this year is little sidecar stacks. I don't think you need to have the quarterback and receiver. I think you can either go like Joe Burrow, and you could go like Moss. You could go Kyler and McBride. I'm not saying it's not good to even do like 3 players on one team in best ball, but I think you're far better off going Laporta and Gibbs, or Jameson Williams and Laporta, and like going those routes than trying to get these wide receiver quarterback stacks. George brings up a good point to ask about it. There aren't a lot of very good stacks, in my opinion, other than the Burrow Chase one. Like, I think it's hard to get some of them. There's some problematic thing where it's like, you're overpaying. I much would rather have different creative ones. And dare I say,
you got Love, got Love and Reed, and now you got Love, Reed, Mix.
But we're talking about like the high-powered ones, like the big dog ones. I'm not saying those aren't fun. No, but yeah, I know what you're saying. But I'm merely saying, like, we're talking about top 5 or 6 quarterback, and the top 5 or 6, 7, 8, 10 wide receiver. Like, if there is anything that kind of fits the bill, it probably is the Burrow Chase one. But I would say that that Mahomes and Kelsey one's pretty damn attractive right now. Because if Kelsey's going round 4, Mahomes round 5, and you get Pacheco as well in there, that's an amazing stack. I think Kelsey.
You could also run a naked Mahomes too.
I think Mahomes, Kelsey, Burrow, Chase are the 2 best stacks in football. If I had to say.
I think the best naked quarterback to run are somebody like Hurts, AR5.
Hurts and Devontae Smith pretty good. Hurts and Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
pretty
but
good.
you could run a naked. You don't even need their receivers. With Hurts, you don't need his receivers. With AR5, you won't need his receivers. With those running quarterbacks, you don't need their receivers.
Yeah.
You
Morgan.
You know, even Fields.
Yeah.
You won't even.
That's why I'm saying I don't necessarily think you need, if you want to stack this year, I don't think you need to go wide receiver quarterback. I think that you can do it in very creative. I call it sidecar. Like your sidecar, you got your quarterback, and instead of your receiver, you got this running back sitting here in the sidecar, or the tight end or whatever. Morgan says, I respectfully disagree, Smitty. I really, you like Dak and CD. Nobody hates that. I mean, last year was great, Morgan. It was amazing last year, but Dak's like kind of, I don't know. You could say Dak, if you were to load all your eggs in Dak's basket, you could see all of your leagues like go crazy in a good way, or you could see everything blow up this year because Dak's on some crazy shaky ground. Yeah, I love Hurts and Barkley side stack. That's fantastic as well. Barkley and Hurts is
Dak,
really good.
You don't Dak as a fantasy player. I mean, like in underdog, you're not using him in the real playoffs.
He was a top 6 fantasy quarterback.
Yeah, in the regular season, and in fantasy wise, he converts over perfectly for fantasy players, but he just can't get into the playoffs and win.
But we're not talking about NFL playoffs. The whole thing we're talking about is fantasy here. You're on a fantasy football show.
He's fine.
Yeah.
He's fine for fantasy.
Okay.
15 through 17.
I think Ron's thinking about fantasy football playoff best ball.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, Ron.
Yeah, they got eliminated in the first round, but he was a great fantasy quarterback.
Yeah, we're not talking about playoffs. We're talking about playoffs. Talking about playoffs.
No, so I wouldn't.
Where'd Tebow go?
Dak.
Tebow, call back. Tebow really took this personally when we hung up on him. When I hung up on him. He did. He's not in the chat. He's not calling back. He's probably canceling his YouTube membership right as we speak. Tebow took it personally. I think. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are great in best ball because rarely both go off in the same game. Are great in best ball. Yeah, it depends on the cost, but it could be. But Hollywood
nice
crazy.
To have the quarterback with their number one receivers, because if you're playing in a game and they're double digit, the receivers are double digit guys. You get those. So every time you get the yardage for the quarterback throw and the touchdowns for both, and so those add up in your fantasy when you're going.
Smitty makes a really good point about the whole sidecar stack, and like if you can for sure land a Mahomes at round 5 and you nail your first 4 picks, you are just starting your team off super solid.
And especially if you get Kelsey in round 4, and you get Mahomes in round 5. So Kelsey round 4, Mahomes round 5. And then, that's what I was saying. That's why this team that I built, that's why I wanted to do this draft tonight, is to show when you get this amazing 1, 2, 3, 4 picks, and you're like, okay, I'm smashing the hell out of this thing. And then you just throw Mahomes in as your 5th player. It's not fair. It's just not fair at all.
Yeah, but I think we're forgetting one thing, though.
Or Burrow.
We're remembering how Kansas City finished and won the Super Bowl last year. But their offense was sputtery a lot last year. I mean, their offense. I mean, they barely. They finished out great, but for fantasy, Mahomes was not doing people a lot of favors last year.
But that's why he's a 5th rounder, Ron. That's the whole point of tonight's show, though, is that Mahomes left a bad taste in people's mouth, and now they're drafting him around 5. So my whole thing is I'm not worried about that. I think he's going to come out on a terror, and we've seen quarterbacks at his level before have just a bad year. It's just, you're not going to have a fantasy football, monster season every single year of your career. And I think when you buy on the dip on a guy is going to bounce back. Like he just won a championship too. Or he's about to win back-to-back potentially Super Bowls, and he had a bad year.
I think like AR5 is going to have a breakout year. I think Burrow is going to come back with a vengeance this year. I like those guys. Hurts, I think he's going to come back with a vengeance. I'm not as big on Mahomes as
I know you aren't.
Yeah,
I'm counting on a lot of people not being. I mean, that's what I love about this.
But there's Mahomes lovers all over the place. They're just good. They're not going to deviate.
Well, they are though, Ron. That's why. That's the point of the live stream though. They are. He's a 5.4 ADP. Like people are deviating. People are. It's to the point where it's insane to where I had to make a video, and he became a Mars man tonight. Like Pat Mahomes is a Mars man. It doesn't make any sense at a glance, but you miss this, George. Announce him as a Mars man. Look, I'll show it to you right here. He's a Mars man, and the crazy part about it is he's the most valuable cost of entry Mars man on the list.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars man.
He's got more upside at his ADP than anybody on any boards. Like, that's the crazy part. Is like, if somebody's gonna come along and say, did you just call Mahomes a sleeper? You bet your bottom dollar that Mahomes is a 2024 sleeper. I don't care what anybody how they define sleeper. I define it however the hell I want on my channel. My channel is anybody being slept on. A first rounder could be slept on. A second rounder could be slept on. The best player in the NFL can be slept on. He's being slept on. He's got a 5.3, 5.4 ADP, and it can absolutely win you a league. I agree with you. There are going to be a certain amount of people that believe in him, but exactly what you're telling me, he did kind of bad at the end of the year. That's what I'm counting on. I need people to feel that way, or I'm not going to keep stealing him away. But I don't know. I think it's fail proof. Let me see if I can't. Where is this guy at? I don't know if I can get Jeff.
Look, when I saw the thumbnail, I was a little skeptical, but it's like I walked into the dealership expecting to just take a look around, and now I'm leaving in a brand new car.
Yeah, you're buying it. You're buying it. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for buying it. I'm trying to get. I can't find Jeff. I was trying to find Jeff's email.
Ron, how many?
I'll keep my
shares
at round 11.
Ron, how many shares you got of Russell Wilson this offseason so far?
Russell Wilson? I got a couple. I haven't drafted a whole bunch this year. In the big board, I haven't. I've been preoccupied. I haven't drafted like I did last year. But I got some Russell Wilson. I got some Fields. I got, of course, Kirk Cousins because I believe in him. And like I said, I'll take that minivan at number 11 all day long.
Yeah.
And
it sounds like you're more of a value hound. You're kind of taking late round quarterbacks.
He also loves the doubted guy.
What I'll do, here's what I try to do is if I can get like a Hurts or a running quarterback at a decent price, I'll do that, and then I'll load up on everybody else until it's time to take my boy down at 10 or 11 or wherever, and I'll get Kirk Cousins as my backup, and he does wonders for me. I love that combo.
You love Kirk. You love your Kirk Cousins. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I do.
Oh,
all right, hey,
where else can you get?
He must have been so sad last year with that injury.
Where else can you get a quarterback that throws for over 4,000 yards and
Joe
30
Burrow.
touchdowns?
Round 7. Patrick Mahomes, 5.
In 10 or 11, in round 10 or 11.
Well, I understand. I understand, and I don't disagree with you. I don't blame you, and I, of course, support this venture of yours. But I will say that I don't worry so much about round 11 or round 7 or 8. If I'm getting Joe Burrow 7 or 8, I don't need to keep trying to maximize. I'm just going to smash it. So I probably would find myself never passing on Burrow if I get to that juncture of a draft. Callie says you guys are sleeping on Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold's the one asleep, bro. Where's Tebow? Jeff, if you're watching, call back in. I don't know. He really took this hard when I hung up on him because he just vanished.
If you don't see him for the rest of that, you're gonna have a heck of a night, Smitty, because that's gonna bug you.
It'll bug me for a little bit, but I,
yeah.
Hopefully he just got distracted. He might have even thought his phone disconnected or something. I don't know. I think he heard me hanging up on him though. He's like, wait a minute, no. All right, hey, I gotta go. Appreciate you all. George and Ron, call in tomorrow.
All right, sweet.
All right, later, bros. Ron, anything else? Ron, anything else?
I think that.
All right.
I think that does it.
All right, we'll see you later.
Later, Smitty.
Mahomie to the moon. Mahomie, I give you a Mars man.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men.
Amazing.
Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
Amazing. Mahomes is on the Mars men list. It truly is amazing, but the more amazing part about it is he 100% is the most worthy person to be on it. It's all about value. It's all about value. It's all about value. All right, well, hopefully Tebow calls back in tomorrow. Apparently he took it really offensive that we hung up on him. But those are the rules of the show, pal. Nobody's immune from them, even if you drop a $50 super chat. But it's not a big deal. You just call back. Wow, I thought the Jets were trading him, says Ray G. What are we talking about, Ray G? What are we talking about? All right, thank you guys all for the super chats and gifted memberships. We got Ron dropping a 20. We got G Money dropping a 20 at the onset of the show. We got gifted memberships by Ron Navy 10. Gifted memberships by Jeff, who I hung up on. He gifted 5. Peanut Butter and Waivers gifted 1. Appreciate you. And let's see. I think that's everything that I've accounted for. Celebratory messages. I don't think we have any. Yeah, I don't see any, so I think we're good to go. Appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. I'll see you all tomorrow. I do need to do a Dynasty video, not tonight, but we need to do one tomorrow for sure. Bonus Mars Men list video, says Matt. This is a Mars Man video, Matt. You just watched one. You just witnessed one. You just witnessed Mahomes crack the Mars Man list. Or is that an old message? Maybe that was an old message. Yeah, it was. Oh, that was an old message. My bad. All right, I'll see you all later. Appreciate you. Peace out. Mahomie, Mars Man extraordinaire.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men.
We're looking for Vampy. We don't know where Vampy is. He's missing. I'm very worried about him. He's one of our main mods. Also, we have missing is Tebow. Tebow is missing. We don't know where Tebow is. We hung up on him, and Tebow is gone. He did not like getting hung up on. Good question. Let me see if I can lower the music on this one. Good question, Superfish on Rumble, or a good comment. Rumble, we're going to get back to at some point. It's just, it's so hard to, I don't know. We're gonna get back to it at some point. I might just upload some of the uploads there and we'll find out. Yeah, Lego Batman's missing. Lego, I'm gonna put Lego Batman up here as well, because how can we find these guys if our own Batman's missing? Lego Batman. He's got to find himself. Let's try this. Let's try this one more time. Vampy, Tebow, Lego Batman. Once Lego Batman finds himself, he could find Tebow and he could find Vampy. But Tebow went missing after we hung up on him tonight. Vampy, I don't know where he is, but if you guys hear from Vampy, please let me know. See you all tomorrow. Yeah, sorry, Matt. I was reading your original message. My bad. I'll take a lap on that one. We're approaching 25K on the channel. We're about 300 subscribers away, but we are gaining good amounts of subscribers per day. If you're watching and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Please tell your friend. Tell a friend. Tell somebody in an elevator. Wheel Snipe, yeah, he comes and goes. He's definitely not missing, but he definitely is taking leaves of absences that are not approved. Unapproved leave of absences. And there's some people that were like die-hard people that have taken some long breaks before, like Avatar. I don't know where Avatar is. I don't know where he went. Wheel Snipe, DW, we found him pretty quickly. All right, I'll see you all tomorrow. Live whenever news breaks. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Tomorrow we'll do, I'm guessing at least 2 or 3 live streams. Later.